You can hear me, right?
Yeah. Is everything okay over there, champ?
There's a monster in my closet.
There's a monster in your closet.
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Momo. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Hi, Momo. I'm Danny. You believe, right?
I have to believe you, man.
The red eyes, all those teeth, and these big, sharp claws where its fingers show.
I acknowledge that this performance may contain intense content, deeply personal themes, and/or strong language. What am I getting myself into? Good evening. Hello, my name is Momo O'Brien. I make videos about immersive experiences, and I think we can all agree that the scariest part of this video is my feeble attempt at winged eyeliner. So I was approached by Candle House Collective about their new immersive theater experience called Claws. I knew it was scary, I knew it took place entirely on a phone call, and that's about it. What I did know is that it seemed unlike anything I had covered before, and me being scared is a good source of entertainment. For you, my lovely viewers. So after being provided a ticket, I filled out an intake form. Coming to you live from the small set that I have built for myself in my boyfriend's parents' attic. They have a section for pronouns. My phone number, they need the make and model of my phone. You write down which show you will be at. Please provide the country in which the participant lives. This is only required if you'll be joining us for I cut myself shaving and it bled so much. Okay, but what is that? I'm not a horror person, but I am an immersive experience person. Let's see how brave I am for this, and then, you know, we'll cross that goat bridge when we get to it. I understand that this performance is a remote immersive theater experience in which I alone will interact and engage directly and intimately with the performers. Imagine if that snuck up on you. Imagine if you bought a ticket for a theater show and didn't realize the entire thing was audience participation. That is a horror scenario on its own. All right, so that's done. So I guess I'm gonna await further information and watch some horror movies in preparation. I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. Welcome to Immersive Horror Theater Summer Camp. I'm your counselor, Momo O'Brien. We went out for a walk in the woods to take pictures for Instagram, but now I don't know where we are, and I'm not convinced that Matt hasn't taken me out here to murder me. And even if you missed some of the important information in the intake form, they also had an in-universe orientation right before the call. So I have a coffee, which I'm sure won't bite me in the butt later when I'm trying to sleep tonight.
Are you sure you don't want it, like...
No. I mean, I want the lights for the camera because it's, you know, it's bad focus in low light. I have been sent an email. Thank you for volunteering to represent the etc. helpline, helping with life's inevitable everything else calls. So I'm assuming it's like an odd job thing. I am human Google. The shift is scheduled for Saturday, June 4th, which is today. While your shift will likely last 30 to 45 minutes, we suggest blocking off the whole hour, as helpline call lengths can be unpredictable. Click the following link for a brief audio orientation to your position. Am I gonna get copyright claimed for this?
Thank you for volunteering to be a representative for the etc. helpline. As an etc. representative, your task is very simple. Help. Please note, all shifts are scheduled in Eastern Daylight Time.
I'm at least 18 years of age. I have a working mobile phone and will be alone unless otherwise permitted.
Before each shift, make sure to find yourself alone in a private space where no one would even think to bother you, like a bedroom, dumbwaiter, or empty grave.
I did specifically ask if Matt could be with me to make sure that the cameras are rolling and such, and like, you know, if he needs to go get a battery, but also I'm a chicken. Horror movies I can do. That is a level of interactivity that I think I can handle. Because, you know, I can press play and then run for cover under a blanket and close my eyes for all the bits that I don't want burned into my brain at 3 a.m. There's also this YouTube show called The Kill Count, which will just summarize an entire horror movie and talk about all of the jump scares. And sometimes I will request to my partner that we watch that before we watch the horror movie. Not that I don't like surprises, I just like to be prepared for them. I have done my fair share of live haunted houses, but I usually just scream and run because those are my options.
I got very scared during it.
When they got out, they were like, who screamed the loudest? And everybody went.
There is no fight or flight. There is just flight. Well, I mean, I guess there is fight, but the employees are doing a bang-up job, and I'd hate to ruin their experience by socking it to them. Scary video games, I always have trouble with. Matt and I recently played Until Dawn together, and I refused to hold the controller. They were checking their phone at one point, and I wanted to find out what happened next, so I held the controller, and then something scary happened, and I panicked, and a character that had lived the entire time died under my care, and I was so upset we had to stop playing for the night. When I am the one that has to press the button to move forward, I freeze up. Why would I do that to myself? When I have the choice between fight or flight, I always choose flight.
Oh my god, Mo, it's to your left. Right, turn to the thing. She locked on the door.
Open this door!
So Matt is acting as my camera person, and I thought that having another person there would encourage me to move forward. When I go through haunted houses, they are the one I am clinging to the entire time. I was genuinely scared that this theater company that asked me to review their show would receive an email about how I completely chickened out. This did not end up feeling like a problem. The person on the other end of the phone felt more like a guide through the story as opposed to an attendant on the top of a water slide trying to convince me to go down while I hold up the entire line. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, I hereby irrevocably, Twilight taught me how to pronounce that word, waive all legal and equitable rights relating to all liabilities, claims, demands, actions, suits, damages, and expenses relating to this experience, including but not limited to physical or emotional injury or distress. What am I getting myself into? And forever release and discharge Candle House Collective from liability under such claims. Okay, now all of that seems quite scary. I understand why it's there though, because if I was a chicken and a Karen, I'd definitely sue. But right underneath that, they have a safe phrase.
If at any point and for whatever reason you wish to end a call early, simply speak our safe phrase, traffic light.
Traffic
and
light.
your caller will be immediately redirected to another representative.
And I think that any immersive experience, especially one that's going to be as intense as this, needs safety mechanics. Not only are they integral for people with neurodivergencies or trauma, but also run-of-the-mill cowards like me. It does make me feel more comfortable that if I get too scared, or in a worst case scenario, I get triggered or freeze up or have an anxiety attack or something, I can use this phrase to opt out of whatever it is going on. A lot of experiences will also use non-verbal indicators, like going like this or putting their hand on their head or something. I recommend having the option of both, because a verbal command like this is easy and prevents people from like across the room seeing you break character. But also a lot of people, especially neurodivergent folk, will go non-verbal if they're caught off guard or if they're panicking.
When the phone rings, pick up promptly, smile, and say the magic words, "How can I help you?" Let's practice. I'll be your caller. Remember, when the call connects, say, "How can I help you?"
Hello? Is anyone there?
How can I help you?
Did you say, "How can I help you"?
Yeah.
If you did, good job! You're ready and rearing to represent the etc. helpline.
I also realized after that I think that "how may I help you" is in part there so they know that they have the right person.
Could you imagine if I accidentally gave them the wrong number and some poor schmuck in Vancouver, like, picked up the phone?
Congratulations! You are now prepped and primed to represent the Etc. helpline to the best of your ability. And let me be the first to tell you that your service is appreciated. Remember, when that phone rings, pick up and with a smile, say,
How can I help you?
very good. And after that, all you have to do is...
We definitely can't have this.
They love the Beatles.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was told to, like, be alone for the 10 minutes leading up to my shift.
Yeah.
So I might get a call.
At any minute.
So, a guilty pleasure of mine is I watch a lot of interrogation videos on YouTube. Yeah, I just think they're neat. And interrogators will purposefully leave suspects alone in a room with no stimulation and nothing but their own thoughts in an effort to make them more anxious and more likely to crack under pressure if they think it's going to help them leave that room. Think about the moments leading up to a jump scare in a movie. It's quiet. Now, do I think waiting alone in a quiet room for a phone call was a purposeful part of the design of the experience? No, but oh my god, does it work out well? I'm sweating so much. Flames on the side of my face. It's just my calendar. It's just my calendar. I hate this. Now, this might just be me, but it does not matter what a phone call is about. If I am sitting in silence, anticipating the sound of a ringtone, my heart rate goes up. Another thing I learned from interrogation videos is suspects will often just talk about anything to break an uncomfortable silence and ease their own nerves. It's a method of soothing themselves and making them feel less nervous. So I cannot imagine the suspense that might have built up if Matt was not there with me helping me to alleviate those nerves.
The toaster at my home, whenever it goes off, I jump. Every single time. I've had the same toaster for years. Every single time. Why did I do this?
This does look like a still from Blair Witch. I do feel like this is going to be
Don't say that.
at the beginning of the found footage film.
Don't say that. And you know what the worst part of this is? I know that I'm gonna get comments on this video of people telling me I should do stuff like this more.
Oh.
Can you see my soul leaving my body right now? Oh my god. I'm dealing with like the anxiety of about to begin a horror experience and the anxiety of I hope the number I gave them works, seeing as how I'm receiving a call in a foreign country. Ah! I got an email, your shift is about to begin. Huh?
How may I help you?
Hello, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Everything okay over there, champ?
Okay, my dad isn't picking up. I tried calling 911. They wouldn't believe. Sorry. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Momo. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Hi, Momo. I'm Danny. I get into trouble, and I said, "You're not on me."
The police hung up on you?
Yeah. You'll believe me, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whoa, what was that?
There's a monster in my closet.
There's a monster in your closet.
Like, I'm 5 years old and scared of boogeyman. Okay, I'm 16 and I put it in there, in the closet, because it's been in the house for like a week, and I tried telling my dad, but he wouldn't believe me. It doesn't look like a monster. It looks, and like, I swear, I'm not lying to you. It's like exactly like me.
Okay, I want to help you, Danny. I'm just trying to figure out how I can do that. So you got a monster in your closet, and it looks like you.
Yeah.
And you say it's been in your house for a week?
Yeah. Showed up like about a week ago. I woke up in the middle of the night because I had heard something, but there was nothing in my room that I could see. You know, I could just hear under my bed. It was like scratching. You know, like something with big claws dragging him around the wood. And in the morning, I woke up. I figured it was a nightmare. I didn't think about it much, but then it happened again the next night.
Okay, how'd you get it in your closet?
I waited with the lights off. I waited for the scratching to start again. And then it started talking from under my bed, and then it stood over me, because it's been doing that like every night for the past week. And
Gross.
so I pretended to go to sleep, and I woke up, I grabbed him, I shoved him towards the closet as hard as I could, and I slammed the door, and I knocked over my dresser.
What was that?
Don't worry. My dresser's in front of the door. It should be trapped in there.
Oh, jeez. Don't tell me not to worry, man. I'm the grown-up. I should be doing more here. Okay, so you got a dresser in front of your closet.
Yeah.
When it's been hanging out with you for a week, have you noticed any, like, weaknesses with it, or...
No, not really.
Not really? Okay, it just stands over you and scratches at wood?
Oh, it does a lot more than just that. It was under my bed, and then I checked, and I saw these big scratch marks on the bottom of my bed frame. And so then the next night, you know, I wanted to see if I could, see it. You know, if I could see what was under there. So I pretended to go to sleep, and I waited with the lights off. I waited for the scratching to start again. And after a long time of nothing, it did. I waited for it to get louder and louder. And then I jumped off my bed to see it. I was expecting. I don't really know what I was, but there was nothing there. There were just more scratches on the wall now too. These big gashes, deeper now. So I went to go get my gas, you know. But I could feel something like behind me, and I was too scared to turn around. So I just said, "Who's there?" And there was no answer for a minute. But then I heard a voice say,
Oh, you'd make a brilliant voice actor, Danny.
"Thank you." It turned out there was nothing there. So the smart thing to do was to tell my dad, right? Like, isn't that what you would have done?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, my dad would kick any monster's ass.
I tried to tell him. I ran to his room. I tried to wake him up, but he's been at work all day. He's a nurse at the hospital, so he's always at work all day, which means he's always out of it, and he doesn't really bother to talk to me anymore. He just half woke up and told me to go back to sleep.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry. Listen here, Danny. Okay, this monster ain't okay? He keeps missing you so bad he's hitting the wood on the floor. Okay? If all he's doing is scratching at the wood and making weird noises, that's nothing. You got this, man. Okay?
All right.
I do have a question though.
You are for sure not the monster, right? Because the monster apparently looks and sounds like you, and you did one hell of an impression there. You got real into character, and I just want to make sure I am not speaking to the monster right now.
I was the monster. Why would I be calling you?
That is a good point. Okay, we're back on track. All right, what
can I do to help you here, Danny?
I'm not sure. Maybe if I tell you more about this thing, maybe we can come up with a plan.
Absolutely. I'm all ears, dude.
Sorry, one sec. Presenting my final girl OC. Truly amazing what you can do these days with purple eyeshadow and red lipstick. So the call lasted about 40 minutes, and oh my god, it was an amazing 40 minutes.
You know, I got really bored being home alone, so I started teaching myself secret. You know Morse code?
Oh, yeah, like spy stuff, right?
He wouldn't even look at me. He just sent me up to my room.
That sucks.
Whatever.
That really sucks. No, not whatever, dude. If he did nothing on the spectrum between fight that monster for you or sign you up for some sort of mental health help, that sucks. Maybe the monster is yourself or your dad or your relationship with your dad. Or maybe it's just a monster. I don't know.
And I wasn't sleeping anymore. Not for days, because,
Yeah, no, I would have moved out.
so I'm
Oh, well, I don't know if letting it out is what we want to be doing. It sounds pretty mad and soul-sucky.
So I was instructed to only record to a certain point in the plot, and after that I put my headphones in, and when Danny's voice was going directly into my ear, it felt so much more real and so scary.
One sec, I'm putting on headphones. Say something only the real Danny would say. Do I know Morse code? No, but I can do a quick Google. Baseball bat. Oh, we gotta get you a therapist after this, dude. No, don't be sorry. You're in one hell of a pickle. You didn't do anything wrong. You are just in a supernatural circumstance. Well, okay, Danny, let me ask you something, okay? I mean, have the baseball bat close by, just in case.
I cannot imagine if I was experiencing this alone in an empty room. It hits different when the monster calls you by name.
Oh no. Okay. Oh, great. Alright. That was awesome. I shouldn't have drank that coffee. I need several minutes though. That was very cool. Do you need a birthday present? So they left it very much on like, oh, the monster's gonna come for you now. I got an email. We just got a letter. On behalf of the etc. helpline, thank you for lending a hand. That was really cool. I want to do it again. Okay. I feel like no smart thought is going to leave my lips in this state of mind.
I must have been real out of it, because no smart thoughts are gonna leave my lips now either. Which is why I reached out to the dudes behind the scenes. I was curious what drew them to this medium to tell this story.
My name's Evan Knighton. I'm the artistic director of Candle House Collective.
For this shift, the role of Danny was performed by Vincent D'Anvanzo, and he did a very good job.
I'm Vincent D'Avanzo. I'm the original voice actor for Danny.
I created Claws in May of 2020, right around the beginning of the pandemic, but that was decidedly not our first experience with remote theater, telephonic theater. We've been creating pieces like that since 2018.
This is an interactive, fully immersive show where the participant makes solid choices that have real consequences to them.
I don't know how much the story differs from call to call, but because of the interactions that I had with Danny, I at least felt like my actions were influencing the events of that night, be that for good or very, very bad.
You cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm really regretting that decision now. Oh, yeah? Oh, no problem. Oh, we've all made great decisions tonight.
One of the things I love about creating for this form is the accessibility. We're creating these fully realized immersive theater pieces within a form that can be accessed anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. Truly, all you need is a phone.
At this point, I've probably done at least 1,000 of these shows, from Australia to England to Tokyo to Canada to Mexico, Spain, here in the US. Participants still throw me for complete loops. They ask a question that somehow I've never heard before in 1,000 performances. They take the choices in a direction that nobody else has taken it in. They see something that nobody else saw. And it's still incredibly exciting and also nerve-wracking to have like a different scene partner essentially every night.
One of my goals in creating Claws was to take this nightmare that almost everyone had when they were a kid of a monster in the closet and imbue it with a sense of intimacy.
Remember how we were specifically instructed to do this experience alone because we were meant to be directly and intimately interacting with the actors? I just thought that's because it would make it scarier. But it turns out there was another motive. The whole first part of this call really made me feel for this character. This kid was hurting and scared and literally calling me for help.
We're gonna get you out of this. I'll figure something out. You're not gonna die, dude. It is not too late. You are not gonna die. Take deep breaths.
Like, I heard this kid who learned Morse code for fun, crying and panicking and freaking out, and the whole time calling me by name, asking me to help him, and I wanted to help him.
You know, I was hoping that it would be different in the morning. But the least you can do is pick up the phone for his son, right?
We really wanted to give participants a world to move around in through the eyes of this character. The approach that I took to creating the piece, the approach we took to developing it, was very character-centric. We worked with Vin and the other performers on allowing Danny to evolve as much as possible.
I know, Danny. That's my main goal here, Danny, is you're getting out of this, okay?
And slowly and gradually, Danny started asking me things about myself. It started with little things like, what are you scared of?
Your bedroom, it can be a scary place, right? Like when it's dark, or am I being stupid?
No, dude, I'm scared of everything. Not even, like, just crap in my bedroom. The list of stuff I'm not scared of is much shorter. I jump when my toaster goes off.
I have compiled a short list of some of my fears. Getting into a fight at the beginning of a road trip. Bees, spiders, anyone watching my old content. You know what? I'm adding one. People watching my new content. Men who have podcasts that just talk about whatever they feel like. The passage of time. Crowds. The stove exploding. My own perception of things being skewed from reality. Leeches. The ocean. Not even like the vastness and mysteriousness of the ocean. It's just like whatever you encounter in there, that's their house. You can't outswim that. You can't even breathe down there. Space. Speaking of not being able to breathe. The planet Earth. In general, and the TikTok algorithm. But my basic fears were not enough. Danny managed to get something a little more personal out of me.
I don't know, think about it. Like, you're in your room, you're under the covers, the door's probably closed. It should feel safe.
It should, and sometimes it doesn't. I had sleep paralysis a lot, like all my life, and I have to sleep with a sleep mask on now. So I also understand anxiety when it comes to falling asleep. So do you remember when we were doing claws and I mentioned to Danny that I used to suffer a lot from sleep paralysis?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what happened last night?
So we were dozing off, and suddenly, the arm that is gripped around me, normally in such comfort, grips real tight and then gets up and goes, no, like that.
I remember calling your name a lot.
Yeah, it was fucking scary. And then Mo was like, yeah, I haven't had sleep paralysis in a real long time. I just saw someone just like walk on your side of the bed and just like loom over you, staring at you as you slept. And then she just went back to bed. And then I stayed up for another like half an hour as I stared in that corner of the room looking for any form of spooky ghost. Fucking so scary.
Then the conversation started to lead to more serious things, like Danny's broken relationship with his father.
Okay, Danny, I am 10 years your senior, and I'm gonna let you in on a little knowledge of the universe. When you're 16, you're just gonna hate your parents. That's just the way things are. And when you're 16, you're gonna be dumb. And, you know, sometimes it rocks, and sometimes it leads to situations not quite like this one. And in like 5 years' time, you're gonna reconnect with your dad, and you can go on road trips and go grab a beer, and it's gonna be great. Your dad is gonna forgive you, and everything's gonna be okay, okay?
Then Danny started asking me if I had any experience being on bad terms with someone. Like, if I was ever a jerk to someone, or if someone was a jerk to me. And this might surprise you because of all this, but I'm actually a pretty private person in real life. Like, I know I cry a lot on this channel, but I think I'm very loud with my emotions, very quiet about where they're coming from. So I gave him a vague and unspecific answer.
I mean, yeah, that happens all the time. That's just part of being human, man. But, you know, you move forward. You figure it out. You forgive them, they forgive you, or, you know, sometimes things don't work out that way. And I've never had a Morse code monster in my closet, but, you know, we all got metaphorical monsters in our closets.
But vague was not good enough for Danny. And I didn't realize it at the time, but this actor was poking me to go deeper. And the weirdest thing is, it worked. I do not know what came over me, but after hearing this kid cry to me over the phone, I spilled my guts to him. Matt was still in the room filming me, and I said things I felt awkward about my partner overhearing. I said things my therapist hasn't even heard yet. Without even realizing it, this character broke down walls that, quite honestly, I am very proud of. I've worked very hard on them. They are strong. Those boundaries could keep King Kong out. Oh, I forgot another thing on my list of fears. Intimacy. Danny, or more specifically, the incredible actor playing Danny, Vincent, you die with that knowledge. You understanding me? I know it might not seem like a lot to you, but for me, when people ask me how my day is going, I say, that's a pretty personal question. So for me, that was big. So not only was accidentally getting that stuff off my chest incredibly emotionally cathartic, but suddenly, me and Danny were tight. Danny was my bestie in that moment. I remember lying on the bed after that phone call and telling Matt, I miss Danny. This kid, whose face I had never seen, who I had only talked to for about 40 minutes, I felt closer to them than a lot of like full weekend experience characters that I have interacted with. I felt like this experience was specifically designed to emulate the feeling of essentially trauma bonding with this character, and I am so impressed. It lifted a weight off my heart and put it on my brain, because I'm gonna be thinking about this for a really long time. But also, do you know what is incredibly terrifying after opening up to someone and letting all of your emotional boundaries down? Hearing a monster refer to you by name.
Claws is, at its core, about trust. The focus is connecting with the person on the other end of the line. And the horror, rather than coming purely from the situation, purely from a simple objective, comes from your own beliefs.
I can tell the same story over and over again, and it has a slightly different meaning because of the personal aspect. It's these little beautiful things that I get to see in people, the way that they respond differently to different things. That's really keeps me on my toes and keeps my performance fresh.
One of the things that really impressed me about this was the choice to have it be an audio-only experience. I am a big fan of not showing the monster, which is a storytelling technique that plays off an audience's fear of what they don't understand, what they cannot see, what they cannot touch, what they cannot fully perceive. The audience holds its breath along with the protagonist as she or he, more often she, approaches that door. The protagonist throws it open, and there is a 10-foot tall bug. The audience screams, but this particular scream has an oddly relieved sound to it. A bug 10 feet tall is pretty horrible, the audience thinks, but I can deal with a 10-foot tall bug. I was afraid it might be 100 feet tall. Stephen King, Danse Macabre. So when I go to an experience, especially lower budget ones, and they try and provide a scary scene, far too many times, I have seen a full-grown person, literally in a sheet, going, I'm a ghost, and I don't want to see it anymore. And I have to actively put in effort to tell myself that is not a full-grown person in a sheet. It's like, I'm not filling in a gap. My gap's overflowing, and I have to try and, sort it out. If you want to check out another horror experience I covered, I would recommend Postmortem, an experience based on H.P. Lovecraft's style of horror, which had no monster. The antagonist was our own minds, which we were slowly losing over the course of this event. I felt that was way scarier than a man in a monster suit, especially if you're working with a smaller budget. There are so many more senses to play with than sight. Postmortem, for example, used smell to make their attendants feel uneasy. I would just like to see more experiences use sound and lighting. It's so much more natural for me to be afraid of the unknown, afraid of a string attached to a door, than trying to convince myself to be scared of a full-grown person in a sheet. Think about the Blair Witch Project, one of the smallest budget horror movies in existence, one of the most successful horror movies in existence, and, spoiler alert, we never get to see the Blair Witch. We don't get to see much of anything, honestly. Let me give you an example. If I hold up this box, get it? Like from the intro. Bet you were wondering when that was gonna come out. And I say, inside this box is the most delicious dessert in the entire world. Everyone imagines a different dessert. Comment down below what dessert you imagined in the box. Just by holding up this box and saying inside of it is the most delicious dessert in the entire world, the experience is catered to every single individual's opinion. And I didn't have to bake anything, which is good, because I can't bake. In Claws, I could only hear what was going on the other end of the line. My brain had to fill in those gaps. It had to guess what was happening visually.
Whoa! What was that?
And oftentimes, it guessed the scariest thing possible to me personally.
Okay, good luck, Danny. Danny, you okay? Hello?
And the gap that I was left to fill in made me even more anxious.
Yeah, I panicked because it sounded like somebody picked up the phone.
It's been studied and shown many times that when you lose access to one or multiple senses, the others are heightened. Well, with Claws, you only have access to one sense.
Yeah, I hear that.
It tends to make the participant feel just as helpless as Danny feels.
Danny, how things going over there?
Hey, Momo,
Yeah, Danny, what's up?
you believe, right?
I have to believe you, man. I'm hearing the banging and like you're right. It is a wild story you're weaving, but yeah, I believe you, dude.
This was an amazing experience that was brilliantly designed. I would happily recommend it to anyone who likes horror, or if you're just looking for something fun to do in your PJs for 40 minutes. You can book your own shift for the Etc. helpline on the Candle House Collective website. Thank you to everyone working on this project that reached out to me. Claws was masterfully crafted, and I am so honored that I was asked to review something unlike anything I have experienced before. Everyone at Candle House Collective is doing incredible work, and I am so excited to hopefully share more of it one day. Thank you to Matt for manning the camera, being my emotional support, and protecting me from my sleep paralysis demons.
And shout out to my Patreon Amy, who messaged me like, hey, I noticed some spelling and grammar errors in all your titles. I make these videos all by myself, and I am so bad at spelling, so that was incredibly helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you to my Patreons. As per usual, this edit became more of a beast than I was intending it to be. And because of their support, I can walk away from it, brainstorm or watch an ARG to inspire me, go back to it, power through the entire thing at 3 a.m. and release it when it's ready to be released. And in quarantine, I got diagnosed with ADHD, so being able to walk away and come back to something at my own schedule and not, for example, a sponsor's, is incredibly helpful to me. Patreons can also see the entire phone call, or at least the part of it that I was allowed to document. If you're interested in early or exclusive content, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would check out my page. And everyone supporting me there helps me to make things like this that everyone can enjoy for free. Speaking of which, thank you to you! You have made it all the way to the end of this video and helped me to battle the algorithm monster that hides in my YouTube closet. 1 like equals 1 baseball bat, a comment is a therapist, and a share with a friend is repairing Danny's relationship with his father. All right, I am sweating in this raincoat, so I am gonna take it off now. See you next time.